Guys, and welcome to Glen, and today we're going to do a preview of a new up and coming ICO called Envion. So let's go. So welcome to my video, and my channel is called Glen. My name's Glenn and I'm investing in cryptocurrency. I only started a couple of weeks ago, just to give you a bit of background information about myself, so I'm pretty new to the whole space. And I went down the route of obviously wanting to firstly just buy some Bitcoin. Then I went down the route of looking at other coins, and then I actually started opening my horizons to ICOs. So I started looking into ICOs, and one of the ones that really attracted me was anything to do with mining for Bitcoin and different currencies. Because I tried to get with Genesis Mining and I've tried to get with Hashflare, and at the time a lot of their contracts had been sold out, so you can't actually mine with them at the moment. So this made me think that mining's really up and coming, or not up and coming, it's been going for a few years, but it's very sought after at the moment. So everyone's trying to get hold of rigs and PCs to try and mine their own Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I didn't really want to go down the route of mining myself. I have a colleague that can actually make that sort of stuff, and we sort of work together, and we're going to build our own rig, like a small one from home. But I was thinking more broader and a more wide scale. So this got me onto Envion, which is a ICO that's starting up on December the 1st. Today is currently November the 29th, which is a Wednesday, and they go live midday Friday. So we've got about a day and a half to 2 days before they actually go live. So I wanted to do a preview of the ICO, not a review, because I believe you can't review something until you've actually used it for at least a few weeks to a month. So I wanted to do a preview for people that are looking for information on the internet. There isn't actually that much out there. There's so many ICOs out there that it's easy to get wrapped up in loads of other different ones. So I thought I'd do a preview of Envion and obviously present the facts as I see them. I may be wrong, I may be right, but that's just how I've read things. I have followed them quite a lot within the last month to, I don't know, so 5 weeks, something like that. So I feel like I'm sort of up to date with what's going on in the Envion landscape. But obviously I don't work for them, I'm not endorsed by them, I'm not paid by them, I'm not part of an affiliate program, I don't earn any money off these YouTube videos, so I'm literally just speaking my mind and my opinion completely. When you first search for Envion, this is their website that you're going to come across. Now it says here sign up for the pre-sale, so you type in your email address and you sign in for their pre-sale. Now what is the pre-sale? So they go live on, let's have a little look. They go live sort of mid-December with a price of $1 per token. So you have to bear this in mind when you're investing in this company. If you're new to the whole landscape of cryptocurrency like me, if you're talking about shares of a company, like shares in Apple, you would say I own shares in Apple, or I own 10 shares, or whatever price per share. With this, you're actually buying tokens. So you don't own shares in the company, you don't, have a majority say in what's going on in the company, you own tokens. I'll get into that a bit later, but then them tokens are going on sale for $1 per token on December the 14th, and I believe that's to the general public, so anyone could buy them. But if you sign up for the pre-sale on December the 1st, you're getting sort of a 2-week head start. You can sign up and you can buy the tokens at 70 cents per token, so you're getting 30% off, and that's what that message is that popped up at the beginning: receive 30% off when you receive an email for them to do the pre-sale. If you miss out on that, you can wait till December the 3rd, there'll be 80 cents. You can go for December the 7th, they go up to 90 cents, and then December the 14th, $1 per token. So they're your options if you want to sort of get in there early on. Once they have finished their pre-sale, which goes on up until December the 31st, there will be no more tokens distributed. So they actually set out in their white paper, so I'll go to their white paper. They have actually set out that there will be 150 million tokens available, and this is how they're going to be distributed. So 83% of all those 150 million tokens potential will go to token holders, so people like me and you may be watching this video. 10% of them will be held back for the founder team, 5% for Envion AG as a reserve, and 2% for their bounty program, which I'll mention their bounty program in a second. So that's how their tokens are going to be distributed. When you're buying the tokens, they go into your Ether wallet. It has to be a wallet that is capable of receiving ERC20. I won't get into too much about that, but it's just a type of token that some wallets will be able to receive, some won't. If you give them the wrong wallet address, potentially you'll lose your tokens, and I don't think there's a way of getting them back. So please make sure you do your research before telling Envion what your wallet address is. So these tokens, what does that mean? You know, they're not actually they're not a coin, they're not a cryptocurrency. So just bear that in mind. It's a token. So just keep that in the back of your mind for a second. So with these guys, what they're planning on doing is creating a mobile mining unit that can be transported anywhere in the world and mine at the cheapest rate of electricity. So with to doing mining at all, you'll know a couple of the issues, the main issues that hold people back is one, electricity costs. If you're mining $100 of Bitcoin per month, but your electricity bill, because you're generating so much power at home, comes to $120 a month, you're actually $20 worse off. So that makes people think, oh, it's not very good value for money. Obviously the price of coins go up or down, but that's something you need to risk yourself. But generally, if you want to just buy and sell them, or mine them and sell them every month, you have to weigh up whether it's profitable or not. So these guys are looking to create mobile mining units, which are shipping containers that have a unique air cooling system in place. You can see from these images here, and they're going to be filled with tons of GPUs and ASIC miners. So essentially a massive computer that can just mine loads. Now they're going to transport these units to different parts of the world where electricity is at a, not for free, but a very cheap rate. Now that may be because the economic area don't require that much electricity and the power companies are losing out. Apparently solar panel electricity plants are struggling at the minute. So with these guys, they can just go there, plug in, start mining, and if anything comes up in the future, so if, say, like this image here of this solar panel, let's just say something happens and they want them gone, they can just put them on their I received 2 phone calls during my filming of the video, so damn it. So yeah, they can bring these units to wherever they want in the world. They can drop them off, plug them in and mine. Now, as we've seen in places like China, they've actually at the minute deciding whether to actually allow people to mine for cryptocurrency, so therefore making it, say, illegal at the moment to mine in China, from my understanding. Now, the trouble with setting up a massive unit, say like the ones that are in Iceland, Russia, China, if countries or governments decide to clamp down on that sort of thing, then that puts your whole business at a standstill. Whereas these guys can just load their container up onto a lorry and then bring it to the nearest dock and then ship it anywhere else in the world. So this means they're completely mobile, they're completely detached from any government or centralisation, and they can pick and choose where they mine. So this gives them a slight advantage over the big mining units that are being made in warehouses. But then there are other issues. So you've got these big metal containers, and obviously the main issues with GPUs is that they run a lot of fans, they get very hot, generate a lot of hot air. So Envion have stated that they have a cooling system which has a patented technology on it. They haven't they haven't disclosed this information as of yet, as I understand it, but they're claiming that it can keep the temperature down on all the GPUs at the same time evenly, as opposed to just the ones in the middle or closest to the fan, if you like, or air outlet. You can see on this image here that they've got their sort of plugs to plug in wherever they want to go. There's all their air outlets. You've got all your GPUs inside, a main air outlet, and it looks pretty cool. There's a lot of information in here that I'm not qualified enough to talk about, and their usage. Now, again, in this white paper, they haven't actually dug down too much into how much they can mine, what sort of profit it'll run at each month, what power they use, and how much the actual power costs. So there was a lot of questions. A lot of people were reading this white paper and believing, where they're getting their money, where they're getting these statistics from. Obviously, they've plastered on here a return on investment of 161%. Now, when I started looking into investing in ICOs, one of the big red flags that they said to look out for was for an ICO that's promising very high returns. Obviously, this one is. So straight away already I sort of got my back up and I thought, hang on a minute, what's going on here? It's like when you go for a job interview, for a sales job in particular. I've done loads of sales jobs in the past, and they always say you could earn £50,000 a year here. Really, realistically, you're probably going to earn 25 to 30, but obviously they always like to exaggerate. So up until the other day, there wasn't too much information on how they got to these figures, and I'll come on to that in a second. So a lot of people obviously have questions, especially when you're crowdsourcing. Lots of people, different views, different opinions, thinking of different problems and solutions that could come up, are all asking, what about this? What about this? What about this? Now, Envion have said to me in a statement when I asked them that we can't divulge every aspect of our business, especially with it being a technical a technical business, and if you was to go to, say, someone like Sony or Microsoft or Apple and said, right, show me your patterns and show me your supply chain and show me your this, and this, they'll tell you where to go. But the difference is Envion are trying to ask for my money. They're trying to ask for people's money. So it's a bit of conflict of interest there. They don't want to give too much away because they said, in their words, that we understand this is a fast-moving market industry, and if we just put everything out there 2 months ago, someone else would have copied it and probably replicated it by now and actually had it out on the streets mining. So they've said they've had to do a stealth release. So about a month ago they announced it. They're ramping up all their marketing and slowly feeding us information as we go along. So at first I was really skeptical. I was like, why is there no information on this? Why is no one else covering it? What am I missing? So it did sort of hold me back a bit, and I was really, I don't know. But luckily I had up until the 1st of December. So I've actually been doing research for about 3 to 4 weeks now, and it's almost taken over my life because not only am I getting involved, I've also got friends and colleagues involved as well. So I feel like I have to do research on their behalf. So I have been trying my best. I actually follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, which is a new one, I've never heard of them, and obviously their YouTube channel with all their videos that they've got. So over the last week or so, they have started releasing more information as the ramp up to the pre-sale starts. So through Telegram, they actually answered a lot of people's questions on how these tokens are going to work and how people receive the money. And this is my taking of it, so please again take from it what you will. When you buy these tokens, so say if I bought 10 tokens out of the 150 million, or a million, let's say a million, sorry. I have them in my wallet. Those ERC tokens, not only are they able to send information, but receive information as well. So when they're doing mining out on the field, so say they've got 10 or 20 of these units all set up, which they've quoted they could potentially have up to 1,000. They've got these mining units all set up and mining. The profits for those mining get all worked out at the end of the day or the week, and they convert it all into Ethereum, which is a type of currency, and they will be evenly sent out to the tokens. So if you have a million tokens, you're going to receive a million lots of that mining. If someone else has 100 tokens, they're going to receive 100 lots of that mining. So then it's completely fair, it's even, no arguments in that respect. So we're going to receive, and this is how they've put it. And this, again, another little red flag came up in my head because I couldn't quite get my head around this, but they're saying you receive 100% of the earnings from the mining operations in 2 steps. One is a 75% payout immediately. So I asked them, when you say immediately, what is that? Is that a one-off payment each year? Is that monthly, weekly, daily? And they came back and said that the mining is the profits from each mining are worked out daily, but they are paid out into people's accounts once a week. This ICO goes actually live, like actually in operation, if they hit their targets, on January the 1st. And they're quoting that people will start to receive payouts between January the 10th and the end of January, so say the January the 30th. 75% of that will be paid to people weekly out of the 100% that is mined for each token. And the other 25% is going to be reinvested to boost future payouts. Now what they mean by this is that your money is going to be reinvested for the following years. So if you was to go to their way of working out what return on investment, say if you was to put in £1,000, which is something, to be, if I'm being honest, saying I'm looking to do, they're saying in the first year you should receive a total of £1,610 in profit from your tokens. Year 2 you should receive 2,2, year 3 3,001, year 4 4,4, and year 5 6,2. So giving you a total profit of 17,000. That's over 5 years, and that's with a return on investment of 161%, if they can achieve that. So just bear that in mind. So you receive these tokens and you start to receive Ethereum as a coin payment every week from January. Now what you do with that money is entirely up to you. And what you do with the tokens from that point on, so from January the 1st, what you do with them tokens, again, is up to you. You can sell these tokens, so if you're watching this video now thinking, I don't want to get involved in the pre-sale, I want to wait until they're actually paying out, that's fine. Do that. The only way you can get them though, because there's no more tokens generated, say if out of that 150 million I mentioned earlier, say if only 100 million of them get sold, that's how many tokens there'll be. There'll be 100 million about. Obviously, people will own them. Whoever's invested money, they will own them. The only way you will be able to get them tokens later is if you buy my ones off me. So therefore, at that point in time, you're going to have to pay whatever it is that they're currently selling for. So you may think that they're worth, $20 a share, or token, sorry, I keep saying shares. That is what you'll end up paying for them. So bear that in mind. The pre-sale is good if you want to get in there, if you believe in this investment and you believe in this ICO, you'll think that it's really good value for money because you can see the potential of it being worth more later down the line. And that's the sort of seat I'm sitting at. But then saying that, I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and he said a lot of ICOs, once they actually go live, they actually drop in price. So potentially, I could be buying them at 70 cent a share. They go live on January the 1st, and they could drop down to maybe 30 cent a share. Token, sorry, it keeps. If I say share, I mean token. And that is the gamble you're taking. If you want to, you could wait and you could buy them at a cheaper rate, and you think, God, I've bought them cheaper than all them other people that waited for the pre-sale. Or they could go up to maybe $5 a share, which means then you're paying 5 times what I paid. So that is the gamble you take. Once the tokens have gone, they're gone. Then after that, you're buying other people's tokens. These tokens stay in your wallet and they keep receiving the money from the Ethereum mining. If I transfer my ERC20 tokens or EVN tokens to you and you receive them in your wallet, the mining will go straight to that wallet. So there's no having to fill out a form or request that Envion start paying you instead of me. It's done automatically. A lot of people couldn't get their heads around this, and certainly I couldn't at first. I was thinking, how do they know where to pay the money? It's going to be a massive operation. But these ERC20 tokens make it very easy for them to be able to see not who has them, but what wallet that they're in, and pay the mining into that wallet. So that's something that may clear up for a lot of people in their heads, how that the dividends are paid out. This is probably the most popular question I see in the group chat is, how will I receive the profit? How will I receive the dividends? What type of wallet do you take? Now, bearing in mind, you need to have a wallet that accepts Ethereum, not Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also ones that accept the ERC20 tokens. So bear that in mind. Please do your research before you set up a wallet and start receiving these funds. I'm currently using a wallet through myetherwallet.com, and that's how I'm going to be receiving my payouts. Once I receive them, it's up to me where I transfer them. So they may only be in there for like an hour, and then they may be in a different wallet. But that's how I'm receiving mine from Envion themselves. So now you have your tokens and you're starting to receive your mining. Some of the other popular questions are about power, how much they're going to be mining each day. So they actually released an article, which all of their articles come through Telegram, and they're actually posted on a website called medium.com. So I've been going on this website and reading their sort of news articles that they're bringing out. And they have got their KPIs and their hardware specifications. So this is for anyone who's sitting there going, well, how much is it going to earn? How much is it going to mine? This gives you a really good idea and breakdown of how much they expect to mine from each mobile unit. So they're saying here, total number of mining rigs, currently 13 GPUs. So GPUs are the graphics cards that are going to be mining for the coins. They're saying that they're going to have 27 mining rigs in each unit. So you've got the shipping container with 27 rigs, and in each rig there's 13. So total number of graphics cards, 351. Total number of ASIC miners. So you have to bear in mind, with mining there's several different kinds. You've got Bitcoin, which runs off ASIC, and I believe Litecoin does as well. And then a lot of the others are all mined off of just a GPU performance. So Envion are trying to cover themselves and future-proofing themselves by being able to mine different coins at any one time. So if one becomes very difficult, their software and their algorithm will just start mining for a different one that offers a lot higher profit rate that can be converted into Ethereum at the end of the day. So this means that their machines are always going to be sort of running at an optimal level of profitability. And obviously with them being able to go to the cheapest source of electricity, they're paying the lowest amount of electricity receiving the highest amount of profit from mining and paying that out evenly to people in the community that have bought into the shares or tokens, sorry. The reason they're paying out on Ethereum and not Bitcoin is because Bitcoin has very high transaction fees, so everyone would lose out on quite a bit of money. The other day I tried to transfer £1, £1 British, so say $1 of Bitcoin, and it cost me £7 or dollars, if you like, in fees. So, it didn't make any financial sense. In the end, I had to leave the money where it was. Ethereum has very little transaction fees, so again, we're not losing out of that profit we're receiving. We're not losing loads in fees. It's going directly into our wallets, and then it's up to us if we want to convert it into any other currency. So they're saying that the monthly revenue per ASIC, so this is per ASIC machine, and if you're wondering what an ASIC machine is, the most popular ones out there you can look up is the Antminer S9. That's a type of machine that just literally has tons and tons of processing power that can just mine ASIC code over and over again, and it's the one that's the most popular, and it has the most energy sufficient output out of all the computers that currently mine ASIC. So this gives you an example. They're saying that they can get $597 from each ASIC miner, and they're saying that they're going to have a total of 27 ASIC miners. So you do 597 times 27. And then you talk, that's how much you're going to be getting from ASIC. And then you've got the graphical, the GPUs, how much they're going to produce, which I'm not too sure if that says it in there in price, but feel free to have a look at this yourself. All these websites, I'm going to leave a copy in the description below, so have a look at my item description down below, and you can just click on each one of these links and you'll be able to read through this yourself in more depth, because I ain't going to go through all of it. It'll take me hours. So it tells you each one, and what they're saying here is based on a outsider's perspective of what they can actually achieve. They reckon that they're actually going to not only meet that ROI, which seemed very high at the beginning, they're actually going to beat it. They're saying that potentially they could be looking at a return of investment of 181%. So them figures I showed you earlier, where if you invested £1,000, how much you would receive each year, they're actually saying that it's probably going to be higher, which is great news for us, and it lays it out in a way that anyone could criticize it and read it and see what they feel about it. And it's got a little disclaimer here about how they've got to these figures. So again, please feel free to read through this. So that's really good news. It looks like they're going to achieve what they're saying they're going to achieve. They've got hardware in place. You can go on their Facebook page and actually watch videos of the equipment that they've got set up. They've actually got a prototype out in the wild. This leads to me for more sort of confidence and more, security for me. I've seen a lot of ICOs out there that literally you're investing on a white paper and that is it. It's an idea. Some of them are not even, I saw one the other day and people are investing in an ICO. They haven't even opened up a website yet. It just says under maintenance and that is it. So these are the type of companies that you're dealing with when investing in ICOs. Some good, some bad, some working their kinks out. Some of them have revolutionary ideas, but they just don't know how to implement it yet. These guys have done that sort of hard work. They've made the machine, tested it, got it out in the wild. Now they're doing their marketing and they're saying, look, we could replicate this over hundreds of times and ship these all over the world. So once you're invested, obviously it's in your best, it would be best for me if all the tokens sold out once I got mine, obviously, because they're going to receive a large influx of money and they're going to replicate this over and over again, which means more units, which means then more mining, which means I receive more profit. So ideally on Friday midday, I want to be able to buy my £1,000 worth of tokens, and then I want the rest to sell out, as quick as possible. So I suppose you could say I'm biased in that respect, But again, as of today, as of right now, I have not invested. And if anything flagged up to me that this was a bad investment, then I would easily walk away. But as of Friday, I will be invested. I'll have my foot in that door and I will want the best for this company as possible. So a couple of other criticisms they got was that their team, there wasn't much information regarding the people that are working for the company, and a lot of them seemed very young and inexperienced. So they actually released a press announcement of some new people that they've taken on. So as a list of people here and what their expertise are. Again, have a read through this and see what you feel. So this again adds to credibility. They're actually putting names and faces to this company. So if it was to fall through, at least you'd have someone to, I don't know, maybe be able to point the blame at or ask questions, why didn't this work out, or whatever. So again, it adds to a lot of security, because a lot of ICOs out there are very you don't know who it is that's actually doing it, and you don't know who's behind the scenes. So this is fantastic for me. We've now got hardware, software issues, profitability, you know expertise in the company, people working for them. So this is all leading up to a very good feeling towards investing in the ICO. Envion also announced that they're using an auditing firm, so an outside firm is going to come in and audit the whole ICO process. So it isn't just going to be them in a room somewhere taking all the money. Someone else is actually going to oversee it all, make sure that they actually adhere to a lot of security regulations that are out. Now with ICOs, why they're so popular at the minute is you don't actually have to follow any regulations, because they're not like a shareholder scheme. It hasn't, because it's so new and fresh, the governments haven't actually set in place, right, you need to follow this, you need to do that, you need to make sure you offer this in this time frame. So obviously that leads to a lot of scams, because people are thinking, oh, I can just request money and people give it to me, I can just run off. Envion have actually gone a step further and they've said, look, we're going to try and future-proof ourselves, so we don't want to have this massive ICO and it be a really big success, then a government come along later and say, actually, do you know what, you didn't do this properly, so we're actually going to take some of that away from you now. Which is another good thing and another security, because you haven't got to worry about, say, the laws changing too much. Obviously, any government could come along and stop this, I suppose. But they're trying to future-proof themselves, which again is a big tick in my mind, because they're not just thinking about tomorrow or the next day. They're thinking months ahead, down the line. So big thumbs up for them doing this. So one of the stipulations, there are, me mentioning that, they are from their white paper, they did say at the beginning that they were going to future-proof themselves, because in America and I believe Switzerland, they have laws in place which prevent people from investing in ICOs and losing out on money. So you can't currently invest in this if you're from the USA, unless you have an accredited investor investing for you on your behalf. You also can't if you're from Switzerland, and to be an accredited investor, I believe you have to be earning £200,000 a year and have £1 million worth of assets, I suppose. I'm from the UK, so as far as I'm aware, it's free reign for me, so I can invest in this company without having to go through a third party. I did have a message from one of the people that watch my YouTube videos. He's from America and he only found this out yesterday, so he was pretty gutted because he's been looking forward to this for a while. But saying that, I sort of explained, or I was trying to explain to him, that once we're past that January the 1st, once the pre-sales is technically finished, he can buy shares in a company without an accredited investor, but he'd have to buy himself someone like me, but obviously he'd have to pay whatever price they're worth at that time, which could be lower or higher depending on how they hit the market. I think that this company are going to go up in price once they start regularly paying out. So if the payouts are on January the 10th and they start paying out every week in Ethereum, I believe that their share price will go up. And it's something that if they were to regularly do that, I wouldn't want to sell my shares, because you're receiving Ethereum. It won't take you very long to get your money back and then start receiving just purely profits every week. Which, if you're receiving profits every week, you know, you could count that as a wage each month if you want to, and then invest that. And if prices of Ethereum and Bitcoin keep going up the way they are, then you're going to be earning interest, or money on the Ethereum that you receive. But anyway, that's me getting ahead of myself, getting too excited. They do offer a bounty program, which is if you sort of spread the word, if you like, and help them get the word out there, you can receive. You remember at the beginning I showed you that pie chart. They set some money aside, which was like 2% of the total tokens sold in the pre-sale. They will set 2% aside for people that have helped, get the word out there, if you like, advertise them. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think I meet any of this criteria. I looked through them. They don't do a YouTube one, so I messaged them and said, "Do you do a blog bounty?" Which means I'd only receive 10% of the 2%, so it's a very small amount. But so far, I haven't had anyone come back to me, and I don't think my audience is big enough. Generally, I have about 40 subscribers now, so thank you very much for that. But one of the earlier videos I've done about Envion and the ICO got about 1,500 views, so I feel like I've put the word out there. But I've also done some videos explaining my concerns for Envion as well, so I haven't been championing it the whole way through as such. I've tried to just give my honest feelings of this ICO, and it has been a roller coaster. If you're thinking of investing in an ICO, unless you're just investing a very small amount that you literally don't care about. So if I went to an ICO and invested $50, I probably wouldn't care about it. And if someone said, "Oh yeah, that ICO, it crashed or didn't go through," I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I think I had some shares in it." You wouldn't worry too much about it. But this Envion one, I just had a really strong and passionate feeling towards it. I want to get involved in mining somehow, and these guys seem to have a lot of solutions for the problems that are out there currently with mining. So I felt really passionate about joining these guys, but I was really skeptical. Now I'm a dad of 5. I've got 5 children, a wife. My wife believes that cryptocurrency is something I've just made up and I mentioned at the dinner table. So she's dead against it, as I'm sure a lot of people's wives are. So literally I'm sort of like panicking a bit, like, oh no, what if I do this and it all falls through? I'm going to look like an idiot, and I'm going to lose us money, which I could have spent on the kids. But it's a sum of money that we have at the moment that I don't feel if I lose it's going to affect our lives too much. I'm not selling my house for it or anything like that. So that's another important message I want to bring out there. Only invest what you're willing to wake up one day and think, "I've just lost that." Whatever that figure is in your head, you may think, "I don't care if I lose 10 grand tomorrow." Invest 10 grand. You may think, "God, if I lost 100 quid tomorrow, I wouldn't be able to pay the electric at the end of the month." Don't invest it. Invest 50 quid, invest 10 quid. With this ICO, and a lot of them, they accept credit cards, Bitcoin and Ethereum as payment. Again, Ethereum has the lowest fees for transferring money. So I'm going to have my Ethereum ready on the day for midday Friday, so I can just transfer it to them. And also, when you do it through Ethereum, because it doesn't take so long to clear like credit cards do, they said up to 30 days, because you can request your funds back or something like that, I believe. They're waiting until the funds are completely clear, then they'll give you the tokens. So if you pay by Ethereum, you'll receive the tokens almost instantly. Whereas credit cards, it could take up to, I believe somewhere it said up to 4 months. So it might be until February that you don't receive these for. So Ethereum is the quickest way of actually transferring your money to Envion and for them to actually send you back the tokens. That seems to be the quickest and cheapest way of doing it, but please do whatever you feel is the most convenient and also the most secure way of transferring your money across. So once they've received all your money, what are they going to spend all this money on? So I believe, obviously, with them only selling 83% of the tokens, and some tokens may be sold for $1, some may be sold for 70 cents, some may be sold for 80 cents. There's generally, I believe, if the figure I read somewhere, something like 120 million tokens that are actually going to be available. Remember, the other are going to be set aside for reserves and for the owners of the company. So potentially they've got around, I don't know, I suppose a potential to earn about 80 to 90 million. Let's just say 100 million to make it nice and easy. What are they going to spend all that money on? So 91% of the total investment, so 91 million, let's just say in our example in our head, is going to go straight into the investment in mobile units, so the MMUs. So that's the actual containers with all the mining equipment inside. The other 9%, so 9 million, say for example, 9 million is going to go towards administration, research and development, general reserve, and legal proceedings for token status as a publicly available security. I don't know what that last bit means, but that's how they're going to divide their money up. And they've put a contingency plan in here. If they don't raise, or if they raise less than 7 million, then they'll use the proceedings, gradually shift from investment in containers towards administration and marketing. In this case, Envion will force to focus on third-party business in order to maintain profitability for investors. If that happens, then obviously their share price is going to drop dramatically, and it may take them a lot longer to be as successful as, or maybe never be as successful as what they believe. But I'm not too worried about this just yet, because judging by the interest, so the amount of interest that's been shown in this Envion, they've had, I think they put on Twitter, 70,000 people pre-register for the pre-sale. In the group chat that I'm in on Telegram, there's at least 6,000 people all looking to invest and asking questions. So it's going to be unlikely that they don't hit this target, but who knows, it could happen, but we'll find out on Friday, I suppose. So we've talked about money, we've talked about how you receive your dividends, where the money's going to be spent, how they're going to operate this, the team. So far, I quite like the way that they've communicated with the community. I've been happy with the amount of information that's been given out leading up to the ICO. Obviously, everyone was hungry for all the information on day one when they very first announced this ICO. So then people will feel a bit like frustrated. I did. I felt very, I want more information, but I can't find anything. And there's a lot of websites out there that do reviews of ICOs, and they haven't done a review of the Envion. So literally everything that I'm basing this on is information I found out myself and research that I've done myself, and asking Envion directly, you know, what about this? How do you feel about that? So it seems like it's a very quickly evolving company. You see the way they put their information out, all of a sudden it's becoming more polished, more professional. They've got a community manager involved, so he literally just answers everyone's questions. It seems like it's becoming a bigger corporation, if you like, which is good for investors like me, because I want this to be a success. And if you've got the right people in the right places, it will be a success. So that's my preview of Envion. I hope I've explained things in an easy to understand way. So Envion actually, as well as using Telegram as their main source of communication, they also use Facebook and Twitter, like I mentioned earlier. And they've been putting videos out there in dribs and drabs of different things to do with the MMUs predominantly, showing you how they're being made and where they're being sent to. And I really like this. Obviously being a YouTuber, and predominantly I watch videos. Unless someone's talking about it in a video, I don't actually read that much. So I've probably done more reading in the last 3 or 4 weeks than I've ever done. But they have got some videos on here, and all of them get massive views. 100,000 views, 88,000 views, 159,000 views. This one's got 31,000. This was a live video that they done actually, of them actually drilling the holes to the next MMU. So this is the next unit they're making. And apparently this one's just going to be full of ASIC miners. and they're going to start running tests on how they operate with just, ant miners and ASIC units in there. So that's them drilling holes. And obviously once they've got this big investment, they're going to be able to do this on a mass scale over hundreds and hundreds of units. Things like this, when I showed this to my friend who was a bit skeptical of this company, and he was like, yep, that's reassured me now, seeing an actual product. Whereas a lot of ICOs, you're investing in an idea that might happen in a couple of years' time, or a software, or a website. This is actual hardware that you can see and touch. And judging by what I've read in the comments, they've actually invited people to come down to their base in Germany and actually meet the team, see the products running, see the units. Again, this all builds confidence in investors, and it's nice to actually see something real, like something that's actual, you can touch. And it's already made, it isn't like they've written it down on a piece of paper and said, we might be able to make one of these. They've actually got one, and it's running, and it's mining now. And now they're building a second one. So, yeah, just really hyped up about it. Can't wait. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Again, this has all just been my own personal views and feelings. If there's anything you feel that I've missed out in this video, please comment down below so you can let other people know what your thoughts are on Envion. I had a look at some other companies that do a similar type of and another one I come to was called Gigawatt, and this is a token based system as well. Now they were down actually yesterday when I looked at them, but they've gone back up again. So they're worth $1.60. So based on that, if you was to buy your tokens at 70 cents a share, if they went up like this one did to $1.60, your tokens would be sorry, again I'm mixing shares and tokens, but your tokens would then be worth all 90 cents more. So you're talking about doubling your profit. So potentially if you put in £1,000, you could then very quickly have £2,000 invested. But who knows, we'll see. I'm hoping for better things. Apparently these guys were worth a bit more. I don't know the full story of these, so I can't comment too much, but they were worth, what it says here, about $6 at one point, September time, beginning of September. But then they didn't hit their deadline of when they should have paid people out their mining profits. So then their share price just went right down. I don't know if that's actually the case. That's literally what I heard from someone else. So if Envion do stick, this is going to be key, and I believe this is going to make or break the investment, to be honest. If they hit their mining targets and pay people out, even if it's lower than what they expect, if they just start paying people out, people are going to think, yep, this is something I want to hold on to, I'm going to see how it goes, and obviously that's going to create a demand for the tokens, which you're going to have to buy off other people. So I believe that's when they'll go up in price, and I hope they do, and that's when it'll be, and even I'll be doing another video saying, should I hold on to these tokens and receive the mining potential every month or week, or should I sell them because they're at this price? If they went up to something like, so say I invested my £1,000, I've bought them for 70 cents a share, say they went up to, I don't know, $20 or something, all of a sudden my £1,000 now potentially worth £20,000. Now to me and my kids and to my life at the minute, that's almost life-changing money, because I could then go and put a deposit down on a house and get a mortgage and stuff like that. So then you have to really make a big decision then, or they could just plummet and go back down to being worth $1, and you think, God, I wish I took that 20 grand. So then these are things that you need to keep an eye on. You need to really do your homework. You need to have a clear vision in your head of what's going to happen, or what you believe is going to happen, and what plan you're going to stick to. For someone who, 20 grand at that point in time may not be a big sum of money. And they may want to keep their money invested in. Now this is all speculative. I don't know that they're going to go up. I mean, that would be insane if they did go up to that price. I'm just talking different options that may open up later down the line, as well as receiving the mining. So you've got two different investments, I suppose, going on there. One, you want to keep on the price of the tokens, and then weigh up obviously how much you're actually receiving from the mining, and weigh up over the course of the 5 years what one's going to be, you know, what you could live with, what one's better for you. So that's my thoughts on Envion. I've talked a lot now. I've done a couple of videos about them. I will be going on to a next ICO, so I'm going to invest my money in Envion on December the 1st, and then I will be, obviously nothing's going to happen until at least January the 10th, so we're talking a month and a bit, month and a half. I'm actually away until mid-January, so I'll be coming back around about the 15th of January. And obviously from then I'll be able to actually do another video and say, right, this is what I'm receiving, this is what they're worth, you know, what's my experience so far, what went right, what went wrong. And then yeah, and then from there obviously I'll take it week by week, depending on what price they are. And I'm going to be looking into other ICOs then. So once my money's in with Envion, they've received my money, it's done, it's gone. I'll be looking at the next ICO and I'll be doing all my research into that. I'm not one of these people that I can't have 5 or 6 different ICOs all going on at the same time. I could if it was very small amounts of money. I could just say, right, there's 100 quid, you know what, you know, to see what happens with it. But when I'm talking about thousands, then it's harder for me to just let go, you know, and let them do their thing. So I may invest into another ICO, but maybe at a smaller pace. But let me know what you think. What's an up-and-coming ICO that you are aware of that you'd be interested in sharing your thoughts with the community? My videos are getting a lot more likes and comments now, so thank you very much for that, and I love all your feedback. A lot of people sending me messages either through Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. I'm getting a lot of conversation every day, so I am trying to keep up with everyone and trying to message back when I can. Some people giving me tips, you know, like you keep mentioning shares or tokens or dollars and pounds. You pronounce Envion wrong. You know, I love any of your feedback. Anything that you think, do you know what, this guy would do it better if he did this, please comment down below. Even if you think it's a you know, a negative comment, I'm happy to hear anything. So that's my thoughts on Envion. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel below if you want to carry on my sort of journey with Envion and my ICO journey. You can follow me. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, all BitGlen. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers guys. I think that's everything. Is that everything? See you later. Bye.